There was never a more focused, more driven cyclist than Lance Armstrong. So what difference does doping make depending on what it is? I think when you are talking about other people who were clearly doping as well, it is extremely minimal when it comes to this. These are people, all of them, all of these people in the Tour de France, whether they're using drugs or not. These are the elite of the elite. These are people who can go out in their tennis shoes and coveralls. And my best day on a road bike can out climb me up Antrus Crest Highway with one hand on the handlebar without thinking about it, just because they're so naturally gifted. So when you think about 80 or 100 guys like this, and the margin of ability from the top finisher to the last person to actually finish the Tour de France, the overall time is not that great when you think about 2,100 miles over 3 weeks. We're talking about minutes here. We're talking about minutes. So does injecting some substance into your arm or whatever it is, the way that you ingest or absorb these types of things or inject them, does it make an average world-class cyclist now the top world-class cyclist? No, not even close. Does it give a 1% edge to the elite of the elite, the top 4 or 5 or 10 guys in the world? Maybe. But we're talking about such thin margins, in my opinion here. Um, I still think that Lance Armstrong was one of the greatest cyclists, is one of the greatest cyclists that ever lived.
And finally, what about pressures, man? I mean, you kind of alluded to it maybe when we started talking about doping. Um, were there pressures or discussions to use drugs as a competitor?
Well, Marcelo talked about that earlier, and I think a lot of pressure. It's just like Marcelo being driven. Hey, I can't wait to get out of high school so I can train. I can whatever. That's self-imposed pressure for me. Hey, I want to start a comeback in 1994. I want to make sure I exhaust every physical asset that I have in achieving the highest level of success in cycling. Most pressure is self-imposed. Most pressure is self-imposed. And I think that's really true when it comes to elite athletes. Otherwise, they wouldn't be elite athletes.